Hi, I'm Gary. I'm from Florida State, and I've been a Christian for 3 months, and I just want to share what God's done in my life. Growing up as a kid, I did go to church, not too often, but enough, and towards high school, I really started rebelling against church. I used to go, and it was just more like a thing that I just, like a routine. I never went with the expectation of figuring out who God is or knowing anything about him. Like, I just thought he was just some person that people talked about. I never really wanted to know him personally or had the desire to know him. High school was a whole new experience for me because I did go to private school up until 7th grade. When I got into public school and started high school, a lot of things changed in my life. I started getting into popular crowds, having a lot of friends, always going out. I really got into the party scene right from the start. My birthday was June 26th, and that was the first college party I ever went to, and it kind of just set the precedent for the rest of the year. I started drinking a lot, like 4 or 5 times a week. We would just be so drunk that I couldn't tell you, what happened. I had this friend Olivia who was involved with Campus Crusade, and she lived in my dorm, and she would try to get me to go to the Crusade meetings every Tuesday. I never wanted to go because I never saw myself being part of this group, because I knew it was a Christian group, and they had this God that they believed in and this person who they sought after, and I just didn't see myself fitting in. After we got back from Christmas break in January, I went out the first weekend. I went to this really big party, and we went to a club and stuff, and I made a lot of mistakes in one night. A lot of things happened that I really wish wouldn't have, and Olivia found out, and she just started bawling her eyes out, and for me to have a good friend that's a girl cry because of something I did was just horrible. And I asked her what I could do, and the only thing that she said that would make her feel any better is if I went to the Crusade meeting with her, so I did. And when I got there, it just kind of like sucked me in. It was so awesome just to see how this group of people could have so much fun and be so close together and bond so close and have fun, not drinking and not going to clubs. And I struggled for a while because in the back of my mind, I wondered, why would this God want someone like me who's had the drinking problem and has tried drugs and has had sexual immorality, all the things that, these Christian people say are wrong. Why would God want me? How am I good enough? And a lot of comparison went on. I compared myself to a lot of people in the group, and it was really hard for me to keep going to the meetings. And this opportunity for a spring break trip in New York City came up, and Olivia really urged me to go. I went, and when I got there, like the first night, I talked with some friends, and I was worried because I didn't know how I was going to go out and minister to other people when I didn't even know Christ myself. And that night, March 6th, about 12 o'clock, I accepted Christ in my life, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I just can't explain the feeling. It was like this void that was missing in my life was suddenly full. And the fact that I drank before and I had all these problems before, and I wasn't living a life that God would have wanted me to live, didn't matter to him, because he forgave my sins. And when I accepted him in my life, I was 100% free. I was clean of all my sins, and I realized that just God has this love for me that won't end. And it was just amazing to see the people just around me, how excited they were. And after that, it's been hard. I struggle with guilt all the time. Guilt's a big part of my life right now, even as for the sins that I did before I was a Christian. And and I know that it's not, God doesn't hold any of that against me because I asked for forgiveness, and he's in my life now. But it's still hard to think that I did these things knowing that they were wrong. And when I got back to school after spring break, I stopped drinking 100%, and I couldn't have done it without my friends. And it was cool because if I told any of them that I wanted to go to a club or go out, they were at my dorm in 10-15 minutes saying, hey, you know what, we're just going to hang out with you tonight, And I just can't thank them enough for that. Like, I still have the temptations and a desire sometimes to drink and to go out, but, God's really shown himself to me through my friends, and it's really helped me. to say no and to turn away. You know, I just try to relate some of this to my friends and let them know that, you know, God's not going to judge them and other Christians aren't going to judge them, because a lot of people have that false impression that, you know, if you're around Christians that, you know, they're going to judge you and they're not going to accept you and they're going to outcast you because of the decisions that you've made in the past. And, you know, I learned really quick that that's not going to happen. And I guess my first true friends came from Florida State at Crusade, and it's just amazing to see that so many people just care so much, and that you can have real friends and Christians and they're never going to judge you.